The director of the Arms Control Unit at Tel Aviv University's Institute for National Security Studies, Dr. Emily Landau, discussed the accord with IBA's Efrat Batat, saying that she believes that the outcome is due to mistakes that were made right at the start.
The fact that it's only the U.S. Congress that is taking a serious approach to this deal, looking at all the ins and outs, exposing the dangerous holes, loopholes, and weaknesses and flaws in this deal is quite amazing. So even if this congressional review doesn't lead to a rejection of the deal, I agree with you, it's probably a done deal. I think this process is tremendously important for exposing what happened over the past year and a half of negotiations and how criticism was brushed aside and marginalized, how the criticism was not taken into account by the negotiators, how they created this catch-22 situation where there's actually no time for serious and meaningful review, and exposing the flaws so that at least, perhaps, there will be a platform for pressuring the P5+1 at some level or the United States to at least adopt stricter measures for dealing with any Iranian violations. That's probably the most we can get at this point.
Negotiations have been going on for over a decade. What, in your view, was the turning point? What was the game changer?
2012, harsh sanctions, biting sanctions. Iran came to the table looking for a deal. Only the deal that they were looking for was called sanctions relief and minimal nuclear concessions. That was their game plan. And the P5+1, rather than using their leverage to pressure Iran to make the concessions that Iran needed to make in order to get a good deal, the P5+1 started projecting that, and especially the United States, was projecting that they were more eager for the deal than Iran, and they started making concessions. They also communicated to Iran that this was not going to be resolved any other way. Right? We understood that it was only going to be through a negotiated deal. Well, the minute you say that to the other side, you actually give them a lot of leverage and you weaken your own leverage. And therefore, we saw this string of concessions that finally led to something that Iran could say yes to, because Iran knows that with this deal, they still maintain their breakout capability. They have the sunset provision. They know that in 10 to 15 years, in any case, whatever restrictions were put on them will sunset, and they will have a vast nuclear infrastructure which they can use to continue doing the things that they were doing before the deal.
Is there anything, though, and despite what you're saying, it's a bad deal, that's your opinion, is there anything that is good about this deal?
People are highlighting the fact that the inspections on the known nuclear facilities are much more intrusive than they used to be, and that is true. The question is, does that actually make us feel safer? The test of the inspection regime is not on the easy parts. Remember, the known nuclear facilities were also inspected under the terms of the NPT. So yes, they've become more intrusive, but that's not where the problem was. The problem was with the activities that Iran was conducting as far as the weaponization aspects of its program at the secret facilities, the military facilities, especially Parchin, where Iran was not granting them access. And we can see through this deal that was achieved, there are big holes with regard to verification in that, and specifically in that respect. So yes, in the less important areas, there's more inspections. In the areas where we actually need the inspections, where we didn't have the inspections, we still don't have them. Against the areas that remain untended to, let's say, or untended to in a manner that gives us a sense that we can rely on this deal to stop Iran from moving to a nuclear weapons capability. And in that respect, we cannot be complacent.